the direction to take Kenyans, to make Kenyans believe that you have to have 13 million in a span of 3 months for you to play politics. Politics is simply about allocation and distribution of resources. So anyone who elects an MCA is in politics. And the question that we should be asking ourselves, do they know the reason why they're giving that MCA the power? They're giving that MCA the power to legislate at the local level, to oversight the distribution and allocation of resources by the governor, and basically to represent, the people. But let me tell you, the problem that we have today, it might be governance, it might be anything. But the root cause of the problem is that we want to operate in silos and say, I spend 13 million, I'm doing an amazing stuff. People have to amass resources for them to do what I'm doing. It is deceiving Kenyans. In the run-up to the first multi-party elections in this country, and the reason why we keep talking about Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, Masinde Muliro, and Kenneth Matiba is very simple. They were surrounded by young people, young, brilliant, energetic, much more brilliant than the generation that we have today. Now, these young Turks addressed issues. The issue that Casmuel is addressing are the same issues that Moraro is addressing, are the same issues that Dismas is talking about. Same issues. What is the difference? The generation that we have today, they want to go into different directions. What happened during Matiba, Masinde Muliro, and Jaramogi Oginga Odinga's days? They had Ford before it had those splinters of Ford Kenya and Ford Asili.
Yeah.
The likes of Paul Mwiche, Gitogwi Manyara, James Orengo, Professor Nyang' Nyong'o, they came together, they were young, and they knew they were dealing with a generation that was wise because that generation had seen the transition from colonialism to independence, and they knew where they were taking this country. And Jaramogi Oginga Odinga was on record. I mean, people were around Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, the likes of Dr. Mukisa Kitui, were on record that the thing that distinguished Jaramogi Oginga Odinga was the young people who were around him, who distinguished themselves by articulating issues and helping these leaders who are at the twilight of their lives, focus on nothing but issues. Most of the young generation that we have today, you tell them that Ford Kenya was the official opposition leader after the 1992 general election. They won't believe. It is the same Ford Kenya that we have today. But who were the luminaries in Ford Kenya? They were not just from one political, region. They were not just from one tribe. They were individuals who were not as resourced as the MPs that we have today. But they were individuals who were brought together by ideology.
Okay.
Let me give you an example.
Okay.
After the 1992 general election, there was a by-election in Mombasa. I think it was in Kisauni. There was another by-election in Migori constituency where I come from. Migori has since, produced 4 constituencies: Suna East, West, Uriri, and I think Awendo. Now, the person who won in Migori defected to Kanu immediately. He won on a Ford Kenya ticket. And then Professor Rashid Mzee won in I think it's in Kisauni or Mvita, I can't quite remember. Won, and the late Karisa Maitha challenged that. Now, if you go back to history and look at the people who went down to Migori, where I grew up, and Mombasa, to campaign, to ensure that the guys who were influenced to jump back to Kanu were defeated, there were people from all over this country. They went there because there was a cause. They needed ideologically reformist individuals in parliament. That is what we are lacking. That when you ask the majority of people, do they have the thinking of the Mukisa Kituis of this world, who forced President Moi, of Gitogwi Manyara, who forced President Moi to repeal Section 2A of the Constitution? They don't. And the reason why they don't is everyone is looking for an opportunity to create their own path.
Allow me to jump in.
What we need is an opportunity to create a common pathway that will address the plight of every Kenyan, irrespective of where they are. And no one has to tell us that they're doing it more than any other person.